All right. Oh, hey, audio wants to work. Audio wants to work. He's literally copied an image. Why does it say it's waiting for me? How the fuck do you fix that? Yeah, your channel says I'm live. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Oh, cool. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Still figuring out this YouTube stuff. It was weird because it showed that like my stream was like starting soon or something, and I'm like, well, I don't have another button to push. Um, so you hear me? Do you see the screen as well? Let's see here. Maybe I go to YouTube Studio. Is that what the fuck this is? Um, let's see if we can find this. I don't want to have to redo another link. Oh, you can see the screen. Cool, because like I clicked the link from Discord and I can't see the screen. So as long as you guys can see it, then sweet. Then I suppose we shall get a moving. Yeah, that's so weird. It does not show that way for me. Waiting for Brewberry. Huh, well, whatever. You guys can see it then, and you can hear me. Then we're just gonna move on with our lives. We're just gonna move on with our lives. Let me move some stuff around so I can see. Oh, what did AVAX do? Nothing bullish. Get that damn Talladega out of there. All right. Okie dokie. All right. So, what are the things I want to talk about on BTC? You probably need to use. Oh, I guess this is the one thing I'm going to clarify first. First is going to be this candle. Let me zoom in. Actually, I have a tendency to not zoom in fully. This candle right here had a volume of. You're going to see it right up here 3196 32K, called 32K, right? And that volume was net positive, right? So 32K in this candle. There's 5K in that candle. There's 8K in that candle. 7, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. Let's go this way. 8, 9, 3, 9, 3, 4, 18. Right? So I love that. Like that's one of the things I always look for whenever I'm interested in an SFP of, especially like of a swing point. You know what I mean? Like this may not apply to more of like a range kind of swing point, right? That's what I look. One of the things I look for. I want to see, did longs get trapped up here? And when I saw that this morning, I was like, whoa, I mean, I like the first chart I posted, I think I'd been awake for 3 minutes or something like that. I just opened the charts and was like, ooh, that looks a lot like an SFP. Um, cool. So now I've covered that. Let's go back to kind of what this could potentially mean. And for that, I would like to use a blank chart. This will work for me. Yeah, that'll work for me. Let's get the volume off of this. Let's work with some nice clean information here. And let's go to the 4 hour. Let's start on the 4 hour. Yes, yes, this is where we're going to start. Um, so obviously, we've been trying to answer this question for a couple of days. Is this a break of structure, right? And are we to expect a higher low for a higher high, right? Kind of expecting, or something we've been talking about this week. So, it might have been. This is here's. Let me just try and be a little shorter on this. Pump this up to say the 6 hour, and all you're going to see on the 6 hour is this down. Come on, the highlighter's on. Down, up, down, break. Right. All you're going to see on the 6 hour and up. So even if that was a slight shift on the 4, your higher time frames still pretty bearish. Still pretty bearish, right? Still pretty bearish. Now, in the event, so looking at this range right here, we'll just call this our range for now. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. Um, we deviate it, we come back inside, we come up, we SFP this level. That makes this weak, right? That makes 57 weak. It was 57.30 on a different chart. It's fine. Makes it weak. Price is looking like it wants, after interacting from here, that it wants to return to here. Cool. No problem. But if it breaks this, am I on the 4 hour? Let me get back to the 4 hour. If it breaks that level, then that is going to be a 4 hour market structure break, right? That is going to be a 4 hour market structure break if it breaks that level. And like I said yesterday, if it breaks this, bet my ass and your ass that we are coming back down to this range low. That's interesting, isn't it? Do the other charts look like that? I'm on Phoenix. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Okay. And furthermore, I'm going to say one other thing. This right here, that right there, it's just like a if it happens, right? If it happens, that'll be the exact same thing that happened. Well, I mean, with the exception that there was like this little sort of high that we SFP'd up here, we were dealing with supply, right? But you see the same thing: up, fail that high, down, break, 4 hour market structure break, bearish result, right? Um, yeah. So there's potentially another short on the table for today, and that short is going to, in a nutshell, it's just we can do better than that. We can do better. We're going to do better than that. Um, yeah, in a nutshell, it's going to look like that. It's not going to look anything like that. It is, it's going to lose this, come back in here, retest some of this, and then make a range, run down to the range low, right? So that's some of the things I'm looking at. Let's see. So we're on the 15-minute. Let's jump up to the 30 here. No, no love. 24, no. 20, no. 15, interesting. Okay, 10. 5. I think I'll settle it for that on the 5. I would be potentially interested in adding to my short here, right above 58.2. Uh, if we can get there prior to touching 57, yeah, I might be interested in that. Outside of that, I'm going to have to see what this leg looks like after if if it breaks this low, I need to see the completion of this leg before I really try and refine it into another re-entry somewhere in that area. Sorry, I don't know if those highlighters even help. They're like the best thing I have to like, I don't know, like illustrate what's going on through my brain. And I like them, but sometimes I look at them and I'm like, God, that's a mess. Good morning, Luke Zaldana. All right, so let's get back over to the Binance chart. So what was that? That was this level right here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this one down and I'm going to delete the label off of it and I'm going to change the alert setting, maybe add alert settings and say, this is just going to say entering supply, add to short, question mark. Once per bar on the 5 minutes. Cool. All right. So we got that guy. Boy, that got a little off. Let's go back and fix that. I want to make sure that's still where it belongs. And it is. Okay. Is my magnet on? It's on. Come on, get to the wick. Get to the wick. And so, for the reason that I said this would equal a pretty bearish result, and I have a high level of confidence that we would come down here, for that reason, because that would equal a pretty bearish result and take us down to the bottom of the range low, in my opinion, well, then I think we should look for a long there. I think we should look for a long there. God damn these drawing tools. I think we should monitor for one. Yeah, I do. I think we should monitor for a long there. Because again, like this is just, it's, what's the best way I could say this? I would be looking for something along the lines of tap one, tap two is already in. That's this guy. Tap three, maybe making it as low as that demand for a reaccumulation and an attempt to run back up to this high, being the one, the two, and the three. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that. I think that's interesting enough to look at. We're still, because we are still, let me go back to that blank chart. Got to be looking for, I have to be looking for longs because price is, in a pretty discount setting. That's not the goddamn chart I want. Yeah, whatever. You guys get it. Like BTC is, down, like a lot or whatever, and we still have. Yeah, it's just down a lot, right? So it's in a discount setting. So anything can start running at this point. So yeah, I think I'm gonna look for that. Did I miss something inside of here? I don't know. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. No, that just all looked like dollar signs to me. Because that wick went as low as that. No, nothing great up in there. Nothing great up in there as far as I'm concerned. Um, would I short the high again? Probably. Yeah, probably would. Probably would. Okay, so let's move him to here. And let's move this guy over here. All right, and then let's put a horizontal ray on the high, and yeah, I think I will look up there again. Let's see. In order for me to be interested in shorting the high, we cannot lose the low prior to that, right? It would basically have to come like kind of from the low back up to here for me to short that. If it were to come, yeah, yeah. That's just as it stands right now. Because I'm like thinking to myself, like, okay, so if it comes down here and then for whatever reason turns back up around here, like it shouldn't be doing that because we will have put in a 4 hour market structure break, right? So in the odd chance that it were to do this, I don't think that this high is going to hold because if you put in a 4 hour market structure break below this point and still return to that high, somebody means business. Somebody means business. Yeah, it would need to hold the target of the SFP again is this 57030. If that held and took a run back up there, then I think I would be interested in shorting that. But not a loss of this and then back up to there. No, no, I'm going to be hands off on that one. Testing the daily open. The daily open. Where's that template at? Should do. That should be. No, I don't want that one. This one. Go. Oh God. Go with these damn drawing tools. The daily open. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll go for that. I'll go for that. Maybe that's why we're getting a little bit of lift out of that area. I don't think that. I mean, my gut cannot tell me from where we're at up to here. It just, I don't know. It could happen, right? But I just don't think that that is very logical at this point. I think we're going to achieve this right here. Yeah, I really do. I really do. Um, yeah, considering the volume of trapped longs up there, and so that was the other reason I wanted to talk about this, right? That was the other reason I wanted to talk about this because I want to talk about this candle and I want to talk about this candle, right? So there, we kind of already established that there's, a whole lot of volume in that candle and trapped longs and blah, 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 right? Well, eventually, when those trapped longs get their SL hit, that's a sell order, right? And so if you trap them enough to get into their SL, then like just as you get this big bullish result of that volume off of its buy, which was whatever 1.87%, if you can get it to SL, then you can have you can see a fairly equal a sell order with the equivalent of that buy order, right? Um, because that's just what happens when the SL gets hit. It's a sell order, right? So yeah, I think that that could possibly be exactly what we see right here. This candle right here, this 2% candle, could be the SL getting smacked of this almost 2% candle up right here. That could have very well been its SL getting smacked right there. Um, yeah. Mhm. Hey, at least that's the way I see it. That's a great thing about doing TA. I can make up whatever the hell I want to. I am the master of my own universe. But that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Okay, so I think I have covered all of the local stuff, right? Like we potentially long off here. If this works, then I'm interested in this again, and I will just be playing this range right here for whatever it is willing to provide for me. No, no, that's not what I want. That range right there, I'm just going to play that for whatever it's willing to provide for me. We've got those. Yeah, just go away. And we have, yeah, we got. We have Monday's low. With Monday's low, though I think that's a scalp trade. Think that's a scalp trade. Something like that. I mean, like I think that's a scalp trade. I think if that were to work, right? So say we put in, I can do better. Say we put in a 4 hour market structure break here, and then we do um, sweep Monday's low and see it crawling up. I think that's just a higher, a lower high, a lower high. I think that's probably all that will provide at that point. Um, so I don't want to shoot for the moon off of this, off of that one, but off of this one here, yeah, for that one there, I'm shooting back up to the range high. Yeah, yeah, yep. Cool. So that's the B's and the T's and the C's. Oh, I think wasn't Dixie doing something interesting? Like, didn't it poop on its face this morning? What did that thing do? Boom. All right. So, yeah, that supply that we were looking at yesterday that had not broken the low, this low, that one, broke the low and then retested the low and bam. But we've been looking to hear for quite some time now, right? One of these two. So I would say overall, it has achieved its, or it's close to achieving its objective. Now, let's go back to DXY. Why are you trying to kick me off of there? Let's hop out to like the 4 hour on this and probably clean this chart up a little bit. Wrong buttons as always. Give me a blank, no indicators. Boom, get rid of one of those, get rid of one of those. And if this arrow is to indicate that if we lose this low right here, then we're coming down to this low here, right? That's what that is there to indicate. That's unmitigated. We'll leave that out. Let's get that off. Let's get that off. I just need to clean some of this stuff up. Okay, so interesting. So it sawed right through that demand. So get rid of that. That already did its thing. That's not relevant anymore. I had this little guy left down here, which was, yeah, close to a 4 hour. Is it a 6 hour? So we'll call it the four. Call it the 4 hour. Let's see. And so we get a pretty good lift off of that guy. All right, interesting. What can I make use of any of this information before I just blab on about a chart that nobody trades? Can I make use of any of this? Let's go down to a lower time frame. So it continues. It wants to continue. I mean, that's a giant gap that it left to fill. I think before it can fill, I don't think it comes right up and fills. It might. I just don't think it will. I think it will either continue to go down, which could be bullish for BTC, right? But we have a long planned at that local 4 hour low, so that should cover us there. Or it ranges here and then comes up and fills that inefficiency and smacks off of this supply range. Yeah, something along those lines is what I see. Yep. That's what I see. Okay, so if we continue, well, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but like all of a sudden I'm going like, okay, if we were to like make some sort of continuation like this, what does that mean for the DXY, and what would that then mean for Bitcoin? So if we, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this curved line that has been on my chart since, God, at least December of, at least the beginning of this year. I'm going to delete that, and I think I'm going to start looking at this as a range of price. Get some of this other junk out of here. I think I'm going to start looking at this as a range from here to here. And let's make that a box. Um, so inside of this range, settings. Um, let's see here. So we were definitely inside of the premium section of that range. So it may be a time to make a rotation back down and challenge that low again. Um, yeah, that may be, which, that leg could, eventually give us a pretty bullish result on BTC. Okay, cool. All right, I'm happy with that. We can move on. Anybody to break a low or high, should the candle body close below it? If so, what time frame the candle body should close? Fantastic question. So there's two questions in one there, right? And the answer to the first question is yes. To break it, there has to be a candle body close, right? It's got to be a candle body close or it no count. So we'll pull up BTC and we'll use that chart to dive into that question a little further. Not cake. Cake is not BTC. What is this? Bing X sounds great. Let's wipe it. And let's go to the 4 hour and let's go back down here and and turn the volume off, clean this up. Okay, so for this to have broken that high. Okay, yeah, so for it to have broken that high, this candle body, we can see it's all the way down here. It would have needed to be up here, right? That candle would have needed to close in a fashion like that in order to consider a break of this high. The technical rule is the body has to be above the tip of the wick, right? So even this, no, I got to turn the magnet tool off. It's wanting to mess with me. Even that would be considered a break of structure. Having said that, I do encourage the use of common sense and to say, well, is that a really confident break of structure? Kind of the same way that, like, this one right here, now I want my magnet back on, is a candle body close above it, but it just leaves me wondering, like, is it? Especially because we had this order block right here that we had just interacted with, and then we broke local structure here, and it brought us right back underneath it. So there's a little bit of common sense that goes into it, but yes. Now, what time frame? That is probably the most important question of the two. My rule, in order to consider it a valid market structure point, we're going to make an example here. I need this, and I'm going to put a cute little wick on it. Oh, it's not going to let me put a wick. Pretend there's a little wick off of here, and then we come back up. Boom, and we're going to need a different color on this. We're just going to change the opacity way down, right? And then we come back up. Boom. Okay, so in order for me to even consider it as a valid market structure point, I need to have two consecutive bearish candles and I need to have two consecutive bullish candles. Now there could be another, let's use this as an example. There could be another bearish candle right here, and there could be another bullish candle to follow it. And let's put opacity down so we know that's our bullish candle. And I would still, now let's say we start pulling back from here. So that's a bearish candle. And let's do another one. We're pulling back from here. Okay, so I have two bearish candles consecutively. I have two bullish candles. I have a bearish candle. I have a bullish candle. So I can count this as my low, and I can count this as my high, even though and the reason is because there is two consecutive bullish candles somewhere between the low and the high, right? So I can consider that. So keep those rules in mind of the two consecutive candles, and then it's a matter of literally finding out what time frame is your market structure still valid on. That is just not the button I want. Come on, please. I don't. If anybody can help me figure out what in the hell I did to my trading view, you'd be my personal hero. So in the event, so then you got to just move up the time frame to see how far up the time frame the structure is still valid, right? So right here, obviously we have more than two consecutive bullish candles together on the 4 hour time frame, right? And then we have one, two, three consecutively on the 4 hour time frame. So this is and then right here, one, two consecutive on the 4 hour time frame. This is valid 4 hour structure right here. Okay, now let's go up to the 6 hour. Okay, it's still valid on the 6 hour. Two candles, three candles, right? So it's still valid on the 6 hour. Let's go up to the 8 hour. It is no longer valid on the 8 hour because on the 8 hour, we only have one bearish candle on that pullback. So this is not 8 hour structure. So in order for this to So let's say this is I think this is how I'm going to best answer your question. Let's say you had a 15-minute candle body close above this high, but your 4 hour did not close above it. Well, this is still valid up to the 4 hour, so you always follow the higher time frame structure, right? You always have to follow the higher time frame structure. So what may look like a break of structure on the 5 minute may be an SFP on the 15 minute. What may look like a break of structure on the 15 minute may be an SFP like on the 4 hour, right? So, but only if that structure is still valid on the 4 hour, right? So let's say that this was a 15-minute candle body close, but when we zoom up to the 4 hour, we still don't see three bearish and three bullish to or two bearish and two bullish together. If we zoom up to or zoom out to the 4 hour and we cannot make that case, then that structure is not valid on the 4 hour. We need to drop the time frame. Maybe it's still valid on the 1 hour. Maybe it was only valid on the 15 minute. So when you see a level failing, you need to up your time frames and you need to figure out, is that structure still valid on higher time frames? And if it is, are those higher time frames closing below or above that level? Because you got to follow the higher time frame stuff. Does that make sense, Reapers? Does that answer the question? Can I clarify further? Let's see here. I can find more examples of this. I was just remembering some. Whoa. Just remembering some. I think I had remembered a time or two where it looked like it's this high right here. I know it's this high. So like on this high, it is a candle body close above on the 4 hour. But when you go to the 8 hour, that is not a candle body close, right? So then you ask yourself, is this structure still valid on the 8 hour? Well, if you're looking at it from swing point to swing point, you bet your ass that's still valid on the 8 hour, right? So if we go up to the daily, um, is it still valid on the daily, right? And then we go, yeah, there's our two consecutive bearish candles. Here's our two consecutive bullish candles, one bearish, three more bullish. Yeah, that's still valid on the daily, right? So it's still valid on the daily. Awesome. You could, I don't know if I would actually do this in real practice, but then you could go up to the 2 day. Is it still valid on the 2 day? Probably not, because if you combine, these are each 1 day, right? So if you move to the 2 day, this is a single candle, and we need two of them, right? So it would not be valid above the 1 day. Um, so what looked like a break on the 4 hour, let's go back to it over here. What looked like a break on the 4 hour was an SFP on the 8 hour and above, right? And then, yeah, yeah. So hopefully, okay, you already showed some examples. Awesome, cool. Thanks, Brew. Awesome stuff. Any chart examples for the current price action on BTC? Good. All right, you're already happy with that. Cool. All right, yeah. So that's kind of how you make that determination of, am I breaking structure here, or is this a valid structure point on a higher time frame that is failing? Bingo. That's it, right? Um, yeah, because that was definitely one right there. And then right at this top, we broke 30-minute structure right here and immediately went back below it. Let's just go back to investigate, because I don't really have a lot of stuff to talk about on BTC. Um, is it this one? No, it's not that one. Where is it? It's this one. Yeah, I was like, that's not the one. So on the 30-minute, right as you deviate that high, you come clear. Your 30-minute structure reads like this: straight from the low all the way up to here. Set a low, set a high, above that high, break that low, 30-minute structure break right on top of that point, right? So yeah, and a lot of people were calling me crazy back on April 24th. A lot of people were calling me crazy, but I was like, guys, this is looking weak right here. This is starting to look weak right here. And a lot of people were calling me crazy. A lot of people were. Shit, even my mentor is too strong of a word, but uh, the guy I am a student of, was like, yeah, but it's like you're pretending that like none of the other structure exists when you're looking at it that way. And I'm like, yeah, but aren't you seeing what I'm seeing? And he's like, yeah, I guess I am, but I don't know. Either way, moral of the story is, yeah, that I'm just trying to answer questions. That's all. That's all. Okay, so what else do we want to look at? Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Is there any other things that we want to look at? I'm trying to remember what some of the stuff we were looking at yesterday. I guess render was one of them. I guess render was one. Were we okay? So on render, I was saying, hey, we broke structure here, and it looks like we want to run this liquidity. Get back to the blank chart. I needed to rebuild my templates and get those oscillators off of there. Yeah, so I was talking about how it looked like it wanted to run this liquidity here. And that obviously didn't hold. And what happened off of the most recent relevant low? Yeah, it's just acting wonky. It's just acting wonky because it kind of comes down, fails this low, and then comes back up and looks like it wants to break that high. So let's employ the logic that we just used, right? So we can see that right here on the 15-minute that we have a candle body close above this, right? Cool, awesome. How high is this structure valid on? Let's go up to the 1 hour. Okay, so we have our two bearish candles that set the low, and then we definitely have two consecutive bullish candles that come up to the high, right? Now, if I go to the 2 hour, 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? So that's going to be a single candle. So this is the highest time frame that this is going to be valid on, and it did not close. It did not close above that. So that is an SFP on the 1 hour, and that is the highest time frame that structure is valid on. You go to the 2, single candle, right? So yeah, so that's cute. I'll get to employ that logic right away. Do you think there will be more downside for alt in general? Let me see if the total 3 chart has an answer to that question. Let's see if the total 3 has an answer to that fantastic question. Bum, 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 bum. I like that spot for a horizontal ray. So, let's go play down. All right, cool, whatever. I'm trying to find the most concise way to answer your question. So you're more swing like your biggest swing structure that I can draw on this chart looks like this. Up, down, up, down, right? And that is valid up to is that going to be valid up to the weekly? That is valid up to the weekly, right? So we've got obviously consecutive candles, 2 consecutive bearish candles, 2 consecutive bullish candles right here, setting that low. Definitely 2 consecutive coming back down to here. So this is valid. This is your weekly swing structure right here, okay? Now let's go back down to the daily. All right, so this high is still valid on the daily chart because I have 2. There's enough bullish or bearish consecutive candles for me to count this low on the daily, and here's our 2, 1, 2 on the daily that come up to this high. So I'm going to consider that a valid daily high. The best way I can answer your question is going to be this. This is a weak low. Come on, stop with this. Stop. Stop trading view. Let's just put a label on this. Weak low. That's fucking not be lazy. Let's spell it out. Weak low. Okay. So until we get a daily candle body close above here, because we're just talking about alts in general right now, until we get a daily candle body close above this guy, well, then we're still sitting on top of a weak low. So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. I guess I could be more direct about it. I'm just trying to tell you why I feel that way. Until we close a daily candle above that, and we're just talking about the alt market in general, right? Total crypto market excluding BTC, ETH, and stable coins. Then yeah, there's a weak low. There's a weak low, and the only way you change that weak low is to break the strong high that created it. And we are already entering. We're already entering supply on this. Well, I mean, we've been in supply, right? This is supply begins here. It thickens up a little bit more right here. I'll fix that. I will fix that. This belongs here, and this belongs here. Bingo. Thickening up right there, and then you have your daily order block with imbalance right here. So we've got plenty of resistance above us, and until we can show initiation above this daily high, well, then we're sitting on top of a weak low. So yes, I do. So if a strong high breaks with a body close, the weak low becomes the strong low. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly how that works. Yeah, yeah. The moment that happens, that is your weak high. That is your strong low. Bum 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 bum. 8:09 a.m. on my side of the world. So I've got about 15 minutes left. If anybody wants to cover anything else, holla at your boy. Um, yeah, because I don't, man. I just really haven't been interested in trading altcoins, and honestly, this is why. That's why. Um, I want to see minimum. I want to see a 4 hour market structure shift, right? And this, in, yeah, I do. I want to see a 4 hour market structure shift. So I'd be happy for, this is a total of three charts, so I'm not going to be too picky. I would be happy with this. I'd be pretty happy with that to start looking for swing longs on altcoins. I just don't. If you have an altcoin, morning bully berry, if you have an altcoin that you think has started to prep itself up for some reversal from this massive shiitake mushroom we've been in, I'd love to look at it. I just haven't seen one. I just haven't seen one. You know what I mean? Like when I go to, if I just leave my chart on the 4 hour and we just start skipping through altcoins like a madman, Aave is under bearish structure still, has to clear this high. ACH, that may very well be an SFP in a higher time frame. Let's take a look. 8 hour still closed. 12 hour, is it valid structure? Yes. So like that SFP'd on the 12 hour. So it looks like it wants to march itself up to, give me a fucking arrow, right? It looks like it wants to march itself back up to that 12 hour high. If it breaks that, now we can talk about it, right? ADA has to clear this guy. That's a strong daily high. It's got to clear that guy. A gold. Yeah, bro, you gotta get me all the way up here. AKT, currently as it stands, you got to get me all the way up here, or you got to get me down back to this low again, and then come back and break that high. A gold, you got to break this high. Ape, you got to break that high. API 3, which I don't even think you can trade anymore. That reminds me, I should see if ASI is live these days. You got to break these highs, right? Until any of that happens on any of these charts, I am not looking for longs on altcoins. And it just, you see how this is working? Like every chart I go to, it's the same effing high that I'm referring to, right? Like, what is that? Blur? Oh, I think that one got absorbed too, didn't it? But I'm not interested until above there on Blur. BNB, you literally have to get me above the all-time high on that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think the BNB top is in. Um, Boom. You got to get me back above here to talk to me. Um, Bonk. Bonk I might be happy with. Bonk I might be happy with. Yeah, I'm happy with Bonk. But it actually has to clear this though. It's done half of its homework already, but it has to actually clear that. It can't SFP this because if it SFPs this, then guess what? Right back to where she came from. Cake. You got to get me above. Are we still on the 4 hour? No, we're on the 12. Let me drop back to the 4. Yeah, that's all dog shit. You could run all that liquidity right there and still not clear this high. So I need to see it above here. CKB, same thing. Above that. Compound, need above this. Cloudy, I don't even like this for it. No, I don't even like that for it. Yeah, no, 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 no. I need to be back below this low and then return to crap that high. Crow, it just looks like absolute horse shit. But if you get me above here, I'll talk to you about longs. Curve. CTSI, I don't think you can trade it anymore. DGen, nobody gives a shit about it. Doge, yeah, I need to see above this area. Yeah, you get the point, right? Like I can continue on, but I think you guys are understanding where I'm coming from on this. Um, Everything's sitting on top of weak lows right now. Cass looks so strong compared to other alts. Perfect. Thank you for bringing one to the table that you feel is already done its work. Cass. I always have a hard time finding that one in my chart. Okay, so let's take some closer looks at Cass. Bum, 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 bum. So it looks like we had some sort of a long trade down in there. Oh, no, no, no. We had a short trade coming out of here. Um, that never broke. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to wipe this chart. Remove drawings. Let's step back out to the daily real quick. See, this is the thing that really concerns me on Cass. I remember this now. One. So we had strong initiation above, like obviously right here, you had very strong initiation above this 183%, right? Then when we come up from this high to the next high in the daily chart, we got a 22% break above that high, right? Um, when we come back up to visit this high, that's not even worth measuring. Okay, that's not even worth measuring anymore. You come back up and you touch that high again, it's not worth measuring. Okay, this starts to look a whole lot like a 1, 2, 3 Model 1 distribution, right? So I think at bare minimum, it wants that low. I do. I just think it wants that low. When I look at the daily chart, that is the way I feel about it. Now, if we go down to the 4 hour, maybe you can change my mind. Let's see here on the 4 hour. Let's zoom in and get a closer look at this high that failed this high, that failed this high on the 4 hour. And let's take a closer look in here. So definitely more than two bearish candles, definitely more than two bullish candles. So definitely a 4 hour market structure break right here. Okay, so now we haven't performed another one. So this low is weak on the 4 hour, and this high is strong on the 4 hour. Right, so this, yeah, that's a weak low. It's still sitting on top of a weak low on the 4 hour chart. So yeah, I have trouble. I got problems with Cass. I do. Yeah, I do. Uh, hmm hmm Yeah, I do. I think it wants this low. I think it wants this low. And it's going to break structure. That's like an 8 hour market structure break right there. That's still valid on the 8 hour. Um, yeah, and you really haven't even. I was trying to narrow down to see if we have an OBIM right here. Um, is that it? Did I find it? Not quite. Is it like on the daily? No, definitely not on the daily. 16 hour? Nah, not quite. But the moral of the story, the main moral of the story is this: we haven't even like really truly mitigated anything up here. But I would be worried about. Well, I'd be. Let me put it this way: I'd be worried in the first half of it, right? I would be worried in uh, this area here for a rejection. That would trouble me anywhere up in there. You can show me price up in here, and I will gladly admit that I was wrong, and it's running towards this high up here. But until then, it is a WL. Boom, boom, boom. Which I hate to just be the fucking bear, guys. I do. Now, I will say it does look strong to compared to some of these other alts. I do think it looks very strong. About your consecutive candles theory. Yeah, 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 I will. Sure, let's just, whatever, we can use this. No, Cass is such an ugly chart. Let's use something with a higher market cap on it, like, I don't know, fucking ETH. I hate ETH. I'm going to use Doge. I'm going to use Doge. Or Sol. God, I haven't even looked at the Sol chart in forever. We're going to use the Sol chart because it has probably been well over a week since I've looked at it. Um, Okay. All right. So let's clear the start and let's talk about this. Okay. So let's see. How can I draw this best? I don't know if I need to pick on this whole thing, um, but let's go like this. Let's draw it like this. Here, 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 here. Okay, so I can see that we have some swing points on this chart, right? And now I'm going to simply go up in time frame until this structure drawing is no longer valid. So let's hop straight up to the weekly chart. So in the weekly chart, it is still valid. Two consecutive bearish candles, there's our low. They're just somewhere between this high, where's my arrow? This high and this low, anywhere on, now let me delete my crazy doodle here. Anywhere on this leg between that high and that low needs to be two consecutive bearish candles. They got to be right next to each other. Doesn't matter if they happen first, doesn't matter if they happen last, doesn't matter if they happen in the middle of the march to that low. They got to be there. Okay, they got to be there. And they're there. There's two consecutive bearish candles between those. Oops, I don't want that on my chart. Go back away. Um, so that is a valid low on the weekly chart, right? But if we go to the 2-week chart, we no longer have a valid low on the 2-week chart. We only have one single candle, right? So the highest time frame that this structure point right here, this one, is valid is the weekly time frame. That is the highest time frame that is valid on. Does that clarify? I mean, like I could go in further. I have a few more minutes. Thanks for the TA. I'm in sidelines. What does that say? I hate how this stupid little heart hovers over the last comment and I can't read one word. So I'm going to make a comment to push it up further and see if I can read it. There we go. I'm in the sidelines till 13.2. Oh, he's talking about cast 13.2. Now I want to look. I'm always interested in whatever anybody else is seeing. Cast 13.2. Oh, you want 13.2 before yeah, lowers more better. Lowers more better. I get you. Cool. All right, Reapers. That was a sufficient clarification on the two consecutive candles. I don't obsess about it terribly, but it is a hard rule of mine. It's a hard rule of mine, and also you can't count your. There's another important thing I should probably cover on this. You can't count your inside bar stuff. Okay, let's go back to the 4-hour chart, and let me see if I can find an example of what I mean by inside bar. Okay, okay, we're going to use this example right here. So obviously we have more than two consecutive bullish candles coming up prior to setting this high. So we're going to start from this high right here. All right. Now we have three bearish candles. Cool. We have two bullish candles. Cool. All right. That's a valid structure point. Now we come down, there's our two bearish candles. There's more consecutive bearish candles. Okay, valid structure point, right? Now we come up, three bullish candles, two bullish candles, valid structure point. Now we come down one candle, two candle, valid structure point. Now we come up and we have three consecutive candles here. This is not a valid structure point. And the reason why is because it is still below that high. Well, I guess that one interacted. Maybe that wasn't the best example. Okay, that wasn't the best example. So we'll use. So we'll say that was because maybe that wasn't maybe that was an actual SFP there. I'm not gonna fiddle fart around and try and find it out. So let's. Okay, so valid, valid, valid. Let's go ahead and call it valid, and let's say it touched that one. Um, where is the so like this structure point right here? I don't think that's a particularly valid structure point um, on the 4 hour. I guess it is. What am I trying to say here? There's, it's probably going to be easier to just draw this. Okay, so let's say that for between every one of these highs and lows is at least two consecutive candles on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, that's a valid high. That's a valid low. That's a valid high. This, these here are irrelevant. These are not relevant because they are internal to these two. They are internal to this guy and this guy. They just aren't relevant at all. So as you're starting to build your structure flow, that is oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not the tool I wanted. That is a valid low. The structure flows this way, right? It does not flow this way. That's not its flow. Its flow is here. So what I mean to say by this is when you've identified this structure point and you've identified this structure point and you've identified this structure point, your next structure point needs to be below this. Can't be inside of it. Can't be inside of it. It's got to be, it needs to form a new low or a new high. So if price is in a downtrend, um, then any high that starts pulling back I'm fine with, but I can't count a low unless it's lower than the previous low, right? So this, like in other words, what's a better way I can explain this? So let's say you counted that low because there was two bearish candles in there, and let's say it returns and cracks this high. That's not a relevant signal. It's not a relevant signal, right? It's not, because that is not a, this market structure point has no confirmation. In order to confirm it, it has to touch what created it, right? So this low created this high. Once you come back here and touch this low, that confirms this high. This is an unconfirmed high until this happens. So you can't break structure off of something that is unconfirmed. It has to be confirmed. That's maybe I just made it worse for everybody. I don't know. But That's the best I can explain it. That's the best I can explain it. What's going on over here? A little bit higher, please. A little bit higher, Bitcoin. A little bit higher, please. Yeah, we'll do a. I'm gonna do a recap, and then I'm out. Um, then I'm out. Okay, so we had the idea of looking at this as a range from here to here as being our range within a range within a range within a range within a range, and that is our justification for a sweep of the low for a long trade. The other justification for the sweep of the low on a long trade is going to be a accumulation model of, give me my goddamn highlighter. Where is it? Of 1, 2, 3 for accumulation for a run back up to the high. That's idea numero uno. This was the first idea for the day, was an SFP off of this high, a loss of, where was it? It was this low right here with a retest back in for a drive down, active trade, currently in it. If we come back up to the high, I'm going to short it based off the same principle that this is a range and we'd be dealing with a 1, 2, potentially 3 distribution. And then I think all we have left is the bottom of the range, right? Yeah, and then all we have left is the bottom of the range after that. Cool. That's my recap on BTC, and those are still well, I guess this trade here, you could like, I would say that's just like target one would be here, but that's also in relation to the a potentially larger range between here and here, right? So though target one might be this guy, target two is down to the bottom of the range. And oh yeah, we had two longs down here. Monday's low and the range low into this unmitigated demand down here. That's where I'm at with BTC for the foreseeable future. I hope everybody has a great day. It's Thursday, and yeah, I should be on for a stream tomorrow. I don't expect I'm going to be on for a stream on Monday morning, as I have another meeting that would be conflicting with my normal time. Right on, guys and gals. Brewberry out.